Tonight is Refuse to be Broke Night. I am Bryan of Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm that I created in 1995, one of the first Black-owned registered investment advisory firms in the planet. We are making history, you all. AfroEconomics is celebrating 25 years next year. Thank God. Yes, it is happening for us. How you doing, Miss Cheesa? I remember we're not going to leave you out. Yes, indeed. Thank you. I did like a huge shout out to all of the members that I could see so far that had logged in, but I you know, y'all are going to be logging in. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, we have a webinar every Wednesday. You're looking at this on YouTube recorded, but on Wednesday nights, you can be live participating and chatting with me on this topic about refusing to be broke, living our wealthiest life. This is a topic that I just hold so close to me because I feel that a lot of my life I just spent not thinking that it was possible to be wealthy. Like even though like I've never, I mean, you know, my family always did well, you know, as long as I'm, you know, they were the person who did the school. My father went all the way up and had his doctorate, you know, and so he was in the system, as you would call it, you know, and president of several HBCUs and achieved his dreams. But I knew somehow that just wasn't the road for me, and that's what they wanted for me. That I felt like I needed to be in business in some way, and I always felt like that. I always was the one with the idea, with wanting the carnival in the backyard, with selling all of the Girl Scout calendars and needing some more, and then having to bring me a new supply, like just overdoing it and going after it from day one. Like if you're that person and you're born Black, you really don't find your place. Ever. And being a Black woman, it is one of the loneliest experiences. And, you know, my whole life has been relatively lonely because of my mindset being so different. You know, I can work all day from sun up to sundown. I have to like force myself to stop working. And it's not because it's not work to me. It is just living my life. It is like my lifestyle. It is like, you know, that's what I do. This is my purpose. That's what I do. So it's all my daughter knows because she was born. I already had my business. She was born. That's all she knows is that my mom has her own business and this is what we do. We work. So she's worked on her work all summer. That's what we do. And it was talking about like her son worked all summer. And I was like, well, that's just what we do. It doesn't matter that they're teenagers. That's what we do. I didn't grow up in a household that was like, oh, it's summertime. We go to the river house and we chill out. You know, I saw my father work all of his life. But he never has made anything close to the money that I made probably 2 years out of college, undergrad. I went to graduate school just because that's what my family wanted me to do. And I went to graduate school full time at night because I did not want to stop working. I worked 3 jobs through undergrad because to me, it just made more sense to be making money than to be caught up in that classroom making no money. But I still went to University of Virginia and I amazingly somehow worked all those jobs, paid for all my school myself, thankfully. So we get it done. When you're that type of person, it needs to be more celebrated, I believe, that it needs to be more supported by your family. But I just say all that to say, and I think that I talk about that in the book as well. Like, if you have a person in your family who always has ideas, who is also always wants to go after something, and they will complete it. Now, I'm not talking about the type of person who starts a lot of things and never finishes anything. That's an irritating person. They're a wannabe. They're a loser. I'm talking about the person that follows through, the person who finishes college, that finishes graduate school and does all the things and keeps all their commitments and says what they're going to do, and they do it. I go crazy if I say I'm going to do something and I don't do it. I wake up in the middle of the night. If I told somebody that I was going to do something and I didn't, I'm going to text and acknowledge that I didn't, or I'm going to do exactly what I was supposed to do. And anybody that knows me knows that she is going to do it. She is going to do it. That's it. So my first point on living our wealthiest life is that your end goal should be that you want to be wealthy, and not that you want to have to create this good life. It doesn't have to be at 65. We've been committed to, and as I was saying about how my family did it, is that you work, and then you stop working at 65. And then you have this good life. But I believe that you can have that good life way before that. You can be living your good life in your 20s and your 30s. And your good life does not have to be only reserved for when you're older. You know, I do exactly what I want to do with every minute of my day. I answer to no one but myself. And myself is committed to making sure that I serve my clients. But my ultimate thing, the reason that I do what I do for my clients is because of my commitment to myself. People are never going to treat you better than they treat themselves. They're just not going to do it. So a person will be like, I do so much for other people and I don't take care of myself. Well, you're not doing much for anyone else until you learn how to take care of yourself. So my first point is to just take risk. Take risk early in life. I had to start this firm in my 20s in order to be able to celebrate these 25 years. And yes, that means I got a lot of kicks in the face and a lot of kicks in the stomach and a lot of things, but those wounds have built muscles in me now. Now, my second point is that we must create a plan to get rich. You must accept that it is possible to get rich, to be wealthy, that you will indeed build your wealthiest life, even if you create no wealth, you still have created your wealthiest life because you are where you are as a result of what you've done. That's why you are where you are. Our today is because of what we did yesterday. It's not by any mistake that you have 20 credit cards and nothing is being paid, or you're behind on your payments, or that you have $1 million. That's not by mistake. Some people win the lottery, most of us don't. It is our actions that created our today. So too many of us don't want to be rich. We're completely content with where we are and just paying bills, which is amazing to me. I used to have this person that she used to be around me a lot, and I would give her some work and everything. And she started saying to me all the time, I don't really want to be rich. Now, slowly but surely, God eliminated her from my life and my mindset. That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. And this is somebody's wife. This was somebody's wife who's going to work saying, I don't ever want to be rich. But you still want him to make sure that he pays all of the bills, and you're still out here buying all these things, but you're saying you don't ever want to be rich because you don't want to put out the effort? I don't know. But what I'm saying is that if you want to live your wealthiest life, you must first say that you want to be wealthy. And know what wealthy is, meaning that my assets have to exceed my liabilities. I got to have some wealth. And that you have to make a commitment to saving 15 to 20% of your pre-tax income in a tax advantaged retirement plan so that the money can grow tax deferred. And there's somebody going around talking to Black people about why the pre-tax plans, where most of us are working, most of us don't have our own businesses, don't even have a problem with having to get access. Most working Black folk work for companies that have retirement plans, because they work for the biggest employer for Black people that I've seen is a government entity of some sort, the federal, the state, the local, a school system or something. That's our biggest employer. So we have access to saving at least 20% of what you're bringing in. A third point is we have to know that income does not create wealth unless you use that income to create the wealth. So that's why I'm saying that you have to put away. I want you to put away. I mean, goodness, if you had the stomach for it, if you could do it, I would say put away half of what you make. Because that's the only money that you're really making, is the money that you're keeping, the money that's growing tax deferred, the money that we set up a good allocation for, so you understand the investments that you're putting in and that we maximize that. Because one of the first things that we do in membership is making sure that we do a risk analysis so that I can make sure that how you're investing your money is appropriate for the risk level that you can stomach. And our biggest challenge a lot is we're doing nothing with it. We're putting the money away and you're saving it, and you're just like, well, I don't know. Some of that goes up and down. I don't want to be in it. So you 20 years go by. I've seen some people with 30 years, and I see them at the end of their career, and they never grew their money. Never gave the money even an opportunity to grow. They just saved. So their money was working as hard as they were. Goodness. So my fourth point, and we're talking about living our wealthiest life. And what I'm saying is that we can live well our entire life. You can live well your entire life. Like, you can live well your entire life. 4 is you have to dare to seek the road less traveled. Now you can tell that these are just like stuff that I'm saying from like my experience. Just it's not like something I'm like, la, 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 like, this is real stuff. In order for us to achieve, because all of the odds are against us. Nobody's giving us any loans. I had to start my business with a little bit of money that I had. I was married when I started my business, and in the first week of the business, my husband came home and he was like, I don't want you no more. And this whole business idea is stupid. So you're gonna have to find some, because you know what? I want this house and I want this and I want our savings and I want everything. And I gave him everything. And just a little girl, I gave him everything. I wanted to follow this dream. And he had no idea, he had no concern, he had nothing, he had no interest at all in this entrepreneurship idea. Now, as a grown woman, it makes sense to me. Then I was just like, oh my God, doesn't everybody want to quit their job and start a business? And he was like, this girl's crazy. She is talking about she's making more money than me, but she wants to stop being a stockbroker and do it on her own. This will never work. Plus, he had nobody else doing it. Where it's going to refer to, like, she for sure must have known this girl has lost her mind. Matter of fact, I'm going to make sure I get rid of this one. So, but I stuck to it. I was definitely following the road less traveled. But I understand it. And it's a blessing to just have like no bitterness, but to actually be thankful that he did that, because it let me know, did I really want it? Because I could have backed off, took my job back. You know what I'm saying? And said, whoa, don't do that. No, I can't make it. No, I did it. And then the 5th point, after, you have to dare to seek the road less traveled. And I mean, let me expand on that. Like, what I'm saying is that even though I was looking in the worst case situation, and I was looking at a situation where I did not know what I was doing, I didn't have any other mentors, I didn't have it, it wasn't like starting a music store or starting a restaurant, and you have all these other restaurants referred to, you know, you're doing something nobody else or very few people are doing. I would call people and I go, I want your opinion, and I remember this one white lady saying, if you think that's what you want to do, do it. You can do it. And I really appreciate that. I don't remember her name or anything, but at least she didn't say, you can't do it. And then I remember talking to this brother. He was over this Black organization, and I was telling him what I was going to do, and I wanted to focus on building wealth in the Black community. And he said, well, you're crazy. It's not going to work. Black people don't have any money. I wonder what he thinks now. You all have taken care of me since 1995. I have served you. I have served the village, and the village has fed me. Seriously, wonder what he thinks. He's somewhere, his organization is gone. By the grace of God, J.B. Bryan Financial Group, the home of AfroEconomics, is still here. Dare to seek the road less traveled. Take those chances. Definitely, I do better than I would do if I were working for someone else. And most importantly, I own my business. I own this. And number 5, 1 + 1. This is number 5. I've been writing this stuff and then I have to come back and look at it like, what in the world are you talking about? 1 + 1 = 2. But in order for us to be wealthy, we need 1 + 1 to = 10. So over time, we must spend our money on assets that increase in value so that our 1 + 1 will = 10. And I feel that a key way to get 10 out of 1 + 1 is to create a team that will allow us to multiply. I like that when I think sometimes and I'm thinking and I'm trying to just change the trajectory of my day, and I go AfroEconomics, we don't die, we multiply, like we just grow, we leave a legacy, we build things, we make things better. Before I go on to number 6, let me check on y'all, because sometimes I just talk. Thank you, Monica. Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you, Ethel. She said, feed each other. Yes, yes, yes. You are definitely the she. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Sometimes the church made people, this is from Paula, sometimes the church made people think that being rich equates sin. Very good point. That's why I do my Sunday mornings as often as possible. Y'all should check out The Soul of Your Money. And the 5th principle of AfroEconomics is the soul of your money, and bringing G and Yame is my Ndinkra symbol to go along with that, to bring God into our financial decisions is the, but it's amazing to me that we shouldn't say that, because the pastors and everything have more stuff than the average Black person that comes in to go to the church, which is amazing to me. My clients drive much better cars than me, because I'm building a business. I'm putting my money assets into my business. That it doesn't make sense to me if he's saying or she that this is their church, then how are you pulling from your church? This isn't your church then. You know what I'm saying? That would be like everybody coming in there and taking pots and pans out of the kitchen of the church. But the church should be the least materialistic place on the planet from the top. From the top. Airplanes and helicopters, you know what I'm saying? I get that. But isn't that the most cost-effective way? Or how many people could I feed for the price of a helicopter? And why can't I use my rented limo and go and get in the rented helicopter and go where I gotta go and save money and feed somebody and build somebody and educate somebody? I believe that, oh my goodness, girl, you done took me in the wrong direction. So we're talking about living our wealthiest life. So a 6th point is don't retire early. And like, what? But like, I have to make sure that I keep a hold of this when we have our Black Health, Black Wealth, September 14th, because statistically, it says that retiring early is bad for us. We can lose our mind. So that's going to take away from our wealth. So I'm throwing this in here. We're talking about living our wealthiest life. And Lord knows you want to remember your life. It says retiring early has been the ultimate dream for so many people, you know, but before deciding to retire, that you have to realize that there is a study that has found that workers who retire early tend to be less happy than those who stay in the workforce through the age of 65. Additional studies have found a connection between retirement and memory. Drawing on memory test data from US, England, and 11 European countries, researchers found that the earlier people retired, the more their cognitive, your mind, abilities declined. We got to think about it. Think about it. All right, my 7th point is get rich fast by investing in. Now, I want you to live your wealthiest life. We're going to get rich fast by investing in our health and our mental and physical abilities, increasing our knowledge, acquiring more skill, getting healthy habits, developing our character and our mindset, right? These things, we can get rich fast by changing our focus on our health, our mind, our physical, increasing our knowledge, getting more skills, getting healthy habits. They'll make us more confident, make us more strong and more self-reliant. And when we become more confident and strong and self-reliant, we'll be able to go farther and to go farther longer. See, I feel like, you know, when we're born with very little, like, you know, when I got out of college, I just had money I had to pay back. I'm in negative. You're in negative net worth. You're in negative zone. So we got to spend time catching up with that, just getting out of negative zone. So we got to take some risks. We got to be aggressive. We got to be about being healthy, right? So, and we realize that it's going to take time, but we got to give it time, and we got to use the time wisely, right? Because even though you do feel, and I think my 8th point is that building our wealth will take time, but you can get rich fast if you make the necessary sacrifices in order to do that. I mean, how many times have you told yourself, like, I gotta wait for this money to grow, and I'm putting away this 5%, and I'm putting away this 5%. When have you ever taken responsibility for the fact that maybe if I had been saving 20%, I would have got rich faster? Number 9, spend on yourself. Spend money on yourself. Invest in yourself. Build yourself up as a personal enterprise. I challenge you to spend the overwhelming majority of your money on yourself. Like, let's just say something crazy, like 90% of your money on yourself, and spend the other 10% of your money on stuff. I definitely know that I'm there. Definitely know that I'm there. I remember one time my mother saying, why do you always go to that most expensive store in the world to buy your groceries? Why do you only buy from Whole Foods? If I could, I would not go to Whole Foods. I would go to a store even more extreme. I would go to a store that had the animals out back, and they killed them and they drained the blood. And I saw the cow that they killed. I'm telling you, let me kill the cow myself. If I could, I would know for sure what my cow ate, what my chicken ate, that's how obsessed I am with what goes into my body. And that has taken a long time to get there because I allowed myself to eat crap. Because there was a time where it was flipped. 90% on stuff, 10% on me. And there's a lot of you watching that do that. We have to make sure that we spend 90% on eating healthy, filling ourselves up with quality food. And I had to spend part of my 90% on hiring someone to help me get to that mentality. And by the grace of God, I met this lady all the way out in California, and she was in Portland. Well, I talked to her once a week until she made me stop talking to her. She said, JB, you know this stuff. She's like, oh my goodness. And then the biggest challenge is making sure I do it. Now I can't stand not having quality food. When I go to another restaurant and get, because I love beef, and I get a steak and it's cheap and they're charging me, $50 for something that is cheap and not even grass-fed, not even, oh my goodness, it's like, so quality. Becoming the wealthy and the wealthiest you is redirecting how we spend our money on building up you. You are the enterprise. A second point is exercising. You can spend all the money you want on getting into shape. It hurts me when someone tells me they don't want to spend the money on joining the gym that has the water aerobics class that they love to do, or because I don't want to spend the $50, but then I'm looking at that they have $1 million. You have $1 million. I want you to enjoy and have your wealthiest life and your best life. I want this for you. Do traveling, experience things, go where you want to go, right? Spend your money on your business. Spend your money on things that will make money for you. Advertise your business. Support your business. Have things for your business. Pay your people well. Pay your people well. And then acquire more and more knowledge. Books, classes, online, take a music class. Anything that will take a dance class, anything that will build you as a person and build you into a wealthier person. Do everything to increase your health. Everything you can. Do your checkups. Do whatever you got to. Go to the holistic doctors that you do. Most of the doctors that I go to are not covered by health insurance because they don't do the medicines that I don't believe in anyway. So I believe in holistic things. I believe in things that are about getting to know me. I believe in having a conversation with people about my health goals, what I want, get the skincare products that you need. Take care of your hair. Take the time to be natural. Take the time that if you want to process your hair, make sure that it's processed correctly, not with cheap products, not in the kitchen, not with your cousin. Make sure that you are taken care of. And with that 10%, we got 90% of your money. That 10% of the money, and I'm talking about after you've already put away the 20%, you're saving and investing that money. Then you have this money left. What do you do with this money? Well, the majority of it should be spent on you. You saw that. And then you're spending that 10% these things are limited. Your car payment is limited to 10%. This 10% has to be spread across. So you got to save up. Maybe get a car that's paid off. You don't have any fancy clothes. You don't have the fancy houses. You don't have the unnecessary jewelry. You don't have the unnecessary gadgets. You don't have the unnecessary phones. And you just have the phone, but you don't have the extremes. You don't have to have new furniture every season. You don't have to have the interior decorator coming in because you're spending money on your business and building up your wealth with your business. That's in that 90%. You don't have to have the biggest flat screen TV because nothing of those stuff, that 10% is the money that you spend on things that do nothing to make you a better person. The 90% is stuff that is built, that is making you and building you and helping you serve and help the planet and help your family and help others more. Keeping yourself healthy is the best contribution that you can do to yourself, and to God, and to your family, and to everyone that's depending on us, right? But none of that stuff is an investment in you. And that's why I'm saying it needs to be limited to a minimum amount of money. We don't need to continue the programming that we have, right? And then my final point is that only compare yourself and your decisions to yourself. That's it. Compare yourself to where you were last year. Compare yourself to where you were 5 years ago. And we've talked about that before, but that is a key part of living your wealthiest life. You refusing to be broke. And I know that the part that I have the hardest part with is that I'm going to be saying, okay, you're saving that 20%, and then now I'm telling you to take the majority of everything that I have left and put it into taking care of myself. We haven't been programmed that way. You know, that I saw my father work hard my entire life. He invested very little into himself. But as I started moving towards taking care of myself, I must say that as an entrepreneur, that helped a lot, because as an entrepreneur, you realize that these things, the IRS is allowing your firm to make sure that you're always improving yourself because you're an executive. But if you work for someone, that you have to go and ask them if that's okay for them to help you get this additional skill, get this additional training, get this this membership, or get this particular healthcare coverage, or this particular thing, you know. But when you are the owner and the executive, and you need to have this particular program for this executive in the business, it gets done. If you need to have a luncheon and bring in lunch, it doesn't have to be from the cheapest place. When you're the owner, it gets to be from the best quality food. It doesn't have to be Popeyes, right? It can be a chef that's brought in to cook the food, you know, and that's what you need. And that's the advantage. That is the privilege of being a business owner. And we have not had that. We've only been told about the bad parts, but we need to really investigate that you are able to protect yourself a lot more when you're the one that decides how resources are directed. And if the resources are directed at building you and the business up, you can control that. You can control the philosophy. If you say, I want my employees to have a nice environment, to be, my office to be located where they can walk during lunch and in a safe environment, you control that. You can decide that. If there's a gym inside your facility, you decide that. So that's some things that I think that I just want to share with you, and I don't know. We don't know how long we have here on this planet, but I want to make sure that I express how important it is for us to change our programming so that we can build ourselves from the core. Monica said, I love that. I'm learning to do that, to spend money on me and not stuff. That's right. I'm talking to you. I am. I'm talking to Ms. Witherspoon too. I'm talking to, yes, indeed. Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm talking to Chazon too, right? I'm talking to Maurice too, and Ethel too, and Deborah too. Yes, indeed. We have to get ourselves back in alignment to get to our wealthiest life. Forget just best life, you know, but our wealthiest life, our health is our wealth. Our relationship with God is our wealth. That having our full, and the farther that we move away from stuff, the more holistic and the greater the contribution that we make to the planet. And I remember wasting a whole lot of money on stuff. So sad, like, you know, and you can't get that back. You can't get that back. The sooner we direct we sooner redirect our resources, the better off we'll be. Thank you all so much for your time. I went over some tonight, but I had something for you, and I hope that you received it. But live your wealthiest life, and I continue to grow. So I would say I'm just in summary, because some of you probably appreciate when I summarize that. First, I said that your end goal should be to live comfortably now, and not just waiting on feeling that your wealthiest life has to be something that you have way down the road. And I really truly believe that financial independence needs to be from day one, that it needs to be your goal today, to be financially independent as soon as possible. And that means that we're going to have to take some risks. We're going to have to take some challenges. Our second point is we must create a plan. Make sure that you accept and acknowledge that you want to be wealthy, that you want to be rich, and to invest early and as often as possible to become rich, and save 15 to 20% of your money pre-tax and a tax advantage plan. And a third point is income does not create wealth. And a fourth point, you have to dare to seek the road less traveled. And a fifth point, I would say 1 + 1 = 2, but to be wealthy, I need 1 + 1 = 10. And that means we're gonna have to create a team. A sixth point, don't retire early. It's not really good for you. Let's make sure we just focus on financial independence today. And when we do get older, we'll be all right. And then a seventh point, get rich fast by investing in you. An eighth point, give it time, but at the same time, know that you can get rich fast, but it may take time. So use your knowledge and apply it. A ninth point, spend on you. Spend on you 90% of your money that is left over after you're investing and saving, and spend it on you. Invest in your business, nutrition, exercising, traveling, expanding your knowledge and your skill set. And then that 10%, that's where that stuff comes in. Limit it. We don't need it, and it does not improve us as a person. And then finally, only compare yourself to yourself. When you want to see growth, think about yourself. I was, and that's interesting that I said that, because I wasn't really thinking about, specifically, but I tell people all the time like that. Now I shop in my own closet, because a couple of years ago I was buying things and I wasn't being conscious because of, a stress load and, every excuse in the world. I wasn't taking care of myself well. Now I put a new focus on managing myself, taking care of me, being very particular about what I put in my mouth, even more particular about what I put in my head, what in my mindset. And then things improved for me. And now I can shop in clothes that I never wore before, because I bought them, but I couldn't wear them. I knew what size I should wear, but I couldn't wear them. So I'm only comparing myself to myself, not to whatever somebody else is wearing, not to what I wanted for somebody else or what somebody else thought should be for me, but only me. So when I can say that, yes, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. So be wise, be disciplined. Discipline is everything. You all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I tell you, discipline and wealth are so connected. What did you say, Paula? Fonda, they are out. Thank you. Maurice said, I laid it out. Thank you. Fonda said, thanks, JB. This was great and very encouraging. Thanks for being real. I look forward to attending the event on September 14th. That's so good. Paulette says, thank you so much for your knowledge. It is a wonderful gift you've given us. Thank you, and I thank God for you. Thank you. I thank God for anything I share. He's just using me to get it to you. Yes, he is. It's also about what you believe you can afford and what you are willing to pay. Isn't it true, Andrea? But I'm going to tell you, Andrea, I used to live that way, And when you're a positive person like I am, you truly believe you can afford a lot more than you should be spending. So it depends on what type of attitude you have, because I have to go by numbers. And if I say this is all I'm going to spend, like now with vehicles, I only buy cars. See, on the car commercial, they only show you payments, but I want to see the price of the vehicle. And when you start buying vehicles based on buying vehicle, then you gonna buy a different vehicle. That's why I'm in a Jeep Wrangler. I used to drive like $150,000 cars without hesitation. Not 150, but $100,000 cars, because you're only looking at payments. Now I don't do that anymore. So definitely we have to be careful with what we can afford, and that being very careful with this stuff. Don't worry about the size, just the fit. All right, it's been said. Amen. You're right. You're right. You're right. I said, Melva said, great information, but that I desperately needed. Me too. They said, we teach what we want to learn. This has saved my life. I thank God for you all. Humbly, I say. The day I decided that I would walk like I talk, everything changed. Everything. How you doing, Terrence? Hey, Tony. Y'all have a good night. Monica, thank you. Lady J, thank you. I'm so glad to see you. The baby is beautiful, Lady J. Our members had a new baby. So proud of y'all. Keep doing what you're doing down at ATL. Is that what Atlanta's called? Yeah, ATL. And the ATL. There's Miss Spencer. I see you. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you. Thank you, fella Scott. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful night. Deborah, you quiet. Thank you. And thank you to our callers. Thanks to everybody at Facebook world. Thanks to everyone on YouTube that'll see this recording. Thank you. You're the greatest. Yes, I like that. Desiderata. I used to read that to my daughter. Yes, a great poem. You are so right. I need to check it out again. I used to have it covered in plastic and read it to her. She's like, what is this woman talking about? Thank you. Y'all have a great night. Talk to you soon. Y'all are so smart. My smart people.